Hi, this is your girl Michelle from Healing Out Loud, coming to you live today. I just came from lunch. I went to Ray Aztecs on Street Road, which is a Mexican restaurant, one of my favorite restaurants. I love Mexican food. And when I pulled up, there was about 15 police. I just looked. Right next to Ray Aztecs is a hotel, so I just looked and I just knew it. I'm in tune with domestic violence. So I got slow. I got out the car, went in the restaurant. So I said, okay, I had to wait for my food. So I said, I'll sit over there so I can watch the soccer thing. But I noticed this lady at the bar. So I asked the lady, can I wait over there? She was like, sure. So I go over there. Let me tell you why I went over there. I seen the black eye. And when I was coming in, I seen the guy sitting out there in the grass, looked like he was crying. Remember I told you have to read the room? You got to read your atmosphere. You got to look at people. You got to know what's going on. So I got over there the slick way. So I said, hi, I like your nail polish, just to get her talking. And she said, thank you. And it was pretty. So she kept talking, talking, talking. She was mumble talking. She said, I got a problem with alcohol. I said, okay. I said, well, what happened to your eye? So she says, I said, I work with women to protect them. I said, I'm pro women. I work with domestic violence. She started wailing. And I mean, just broke down, started crying. I started talking to her and talking to her, talking to her. And we got to talking. She told me she got kids. He hasn't seen her family. He won't allow her to talk to her family. She's been homeless on the street with him till a place because he promised this and promised that, but the violence has got worse. And we talked. The guy was sitting outside. After a while, the police left. The guy came inside the restaurant. So uh, he comes in there. He acts like he's not paying attention so he can figure out what we're talking about. But I told you, I'll give you scenarios. So I know how to read a room. So we quickly changed the conversation to this color green, army pea green, whatever you want to call it, um, color that people are wearing and how nice it looks on people. So he's looking. So I know how to pay attention to it. I act like I was looking at a soccer game. I was like, well, thank you for complimenting my colors, And I said, I looked at him. I said, I told her I like her nail color. Then look back at the TV. I told you, you're smarter than what you think. She was too, and that's what I had to remind her too, because she knew how to quick think. She started laughing when I said it. See, those of us that's really been abused know what I'm talking about. You know how to get out of that. Change the conversation. Act like you wasn't talking about nothing. He's standing for a minute. He told her, I was trying to call you. I called you a couple of times. I act like I ain't even seen him. So the lady behind the bar that was serving her wine was staring at them. So I'm looking at her, and when I got her attention from staring at her, I shook my head like, no, don't look at them. Don't stare at them. You're going to cause him to beat her. And that's what happens. That's what I keep telling you. Watch your atmosphere. Because that can cause a reaction in him. Because anytime you expose them, they don't like it. And it's uncomfortable for them. And he would have beat her probably in front of us. And I'm on that side, so it would have beat me. I'm just there waiting for my food. Anyway, long story short, somebody called his phone, Saved by the Bell. He went back outside. So she says to me up on her breath, don't worry, I can see him from where I'm at. So I said, well, I'm going to write down my name, my phone number, and everything. I'm going to get you somewhere safe. She said, how are we going to do it? I said, well, we're going to do it. You can't be around him. I said, was those cops out there for you? She bust out crying again. I knew it was because her eye is all swollen, like it's been beaten there a couple times. And I know that look because I can send you pictures. So then I told her, I said, well, I work in this area. I work, a couple jobs, but ultimately my goal is to help women. I'm pro women. I said, and I don't like domestic violence. I help women get away from domestic violence. She started crying and put her head forward because we knew not to look at each other while we were talking. She said, can you help me? She said, I've been trying to get away for a year. I said, yeah. I said, I'm going to give the lady my number and you just act like you're signing something. I said, and you call me. And that's how we're going to do it. So as we're talking and talking, she started crying. I started talking to her, telling her all kinds of things, to encourage her. She said, I feel like nothing. Now, remember the last podcast I told you? The last 2 podcasts I made. I told you that inner part of your body, you unfamiliar, you don't know yourself. And you'll start thinking you stupid and you this and you're not, your self-worth ain't there. That's what they make you feel like. That's why I told people to stop talking about you. Stop treating them indifferent because they're not. They're human. They're being abused. Their rights. And that's what she said. She said, I don't have a right to say nothing. I don't have a say so. She was like, I feel like nothing. She said, I feel so bad. She said, I keep drinking alcohol. She said, because it covers up the pain. Now, while I was sitting there with her, it smelled like she had a couple of shots. And I was sitting like 4 seats away from her. Not only did it smell like 4 shots, she ordered wine on top of it. Now, I used to drink, so I know all that alcohol. She was little. She drunk. Or trying to get there. So I asked her, what happened to the side of your face? Because I could see makeup was covering it. She started crying again. She said, I need help. She said, it's something inside of me that wants help. And I can't get it. I can't get away from him. We ain't got no jobs. He got me prostituting. Didn't I tell you some of these men, if you say to them, I don't know what podcast I said this to you in, but I told you, if you say to them, I need you, then that's when them beatings come, I own you. And behind them saying I own you is you doing whatever I say. If I tell you to sell your body, you sell your body because I love you and we need to eat. We need to pay for our hotel room. Some of this is that deep. That's why I said that I've been through a lot, but there's somebody that's been through a little more. So don't sit up here and say, I've been through it all. You ain't got, no. It's always somebody worse off. It's always somebody that's been through a little bit more. It was a sad situation. And from there, I couldn't take her because he had a backpack. And I don't know what was in that backpack. When I came out of there, he was over there by the tree on the side. Excuse me. He was over there by the tree on the side. But he could see inside the restaurant where I was. But I sat back and he could see her. I almost cried and lost it in there, seeing that woman. When I tell you a hostage within yourself, but the law that quotes this is criminal restraint. It's illegal. You cannot force somebody to do something. You cannot force somebody to stay somewhere. You can't hold them back from going somewhere. And if you touch them and hold them, that's another charge. Know your law. This woman wanted to run for her life, but she can't. So I told her, I said, I'm up in this area till 11 o'clock at night. I told her, I said, go from one job to another in this area. I said, and then, unlike the other night, I'm up all night helping women, moving you from here to there or whatever I got to do. I said, but where I'm going when I leave this job, I'll be right near where you got to go. I said, you can call me and you can come to where I'm at and I'll direct you from there. I'll have someone pick you up from there, or I'll walk you over there myself. It is that serious. She says she's been trying to leave for a year. Ladies, when you get the chance to get away, get away. She's been a prisoner. Her mind, she says she can't even think. She says she don't even know who she is. She says she hear a voice inside, but she don't believe the voice inside of her. You know what I sat there and told her? Because I wanted to cry again. And don't laugh at me. I said, you smart, you important, and you're beautiful. Yeah, I get them sayings from The Help, the movie, because they're true. They're profound. They mean something to someone. And at the time, you got to know how to hit the spot to make them listen. You in danger. And the only way out is to either walk out, fight it out, or someone gets killed. Now, he's making her a prostitute. So you have the chance of catching AIDS or any STD disease, or the value of you goes down faster because you're doing something you don't want to do. And that is also trafficking, sex trafficking. Mm-hmm. Even though you ain't pulled it from another state, it still falls up under that crime. You can't force somebody to prostitute for your benefit, for you to live off of, for shelter, for food, for you. It's a crime. And I took the time to explain to her that. And she wanted to pay for my food. I said no. She had hundreds of dollars inside there. She said she hides it from him. She only gives him, she tells him that she's a low budget hoe. And they don't give her what she gives. I said, see, I told you smart. Mm-hmm. She said she hasn't seen her kids. He won't allow her to see her kids. She hasn't seen her son in a year. Her mother. Her mother has the kids, just 2 kids. She hasn't seen them in a year. He won't allow it. I know that feeling. Witness again, when you're not allowed to talk to your family. This message today is called When You're in Danger, What to Do. All right, this is your girl, Nichelle from Healing Out Loud. As we do in any circumstances, any situation, because it's not predicated on them circumstances. You will do better. Okay? Love you. Bye-bye.